Huddle Sports Network, where we're breaking boundaries and redefining podcasting. Broadcasting live on 6 different platforms, we're bringing you the latest in sports like never before. Imagine tuning into real-time discussions, expert analyses, and fan interactions all at your fingertips. Each platform offers a unique experience, whether you're on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitch. We're not just sharing stories, we're creating a community of passionate sports enthusiasts. Join us as we dive deep into the evolution of podcasting, where every episode is a chance to engage, debate, and celebrate the world of sports. This is where your voice matters and the game never stops. Welcome to the Huddle Sports Network, where we're breaking boundaries and redefining podcasting. Broadcasting live on 6 different platforms, we're bringing you the latest in sports like never before, where sports passion meets podcasting brilliance. I'm Mike, the Bear fan, and alongside Bill, the Packer fan, and our buddy Ken Catalone, we're bringing you an incredible lineup of 38 diverse podcasters. Each one brings their unique flavor to the table, covering everything from game analysis to behind-the-scenes stories. Imagine diving deep into the minds of experts who live and breathe football, sharing insights that you won't find anywhere else.
This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.
All right, what's up, guys? It's another wonderful finally Saturday morning, and what did we just get done doing? Break out your brooms. We have swept the Packers for the first time since 2017, and I think all people involved, even a Lions fan, Jeremy, you can kind of smile at that one because anytime you can sweep the Green Bay Packers, it's a good day, right?
Oh yeah, sweeping the Packers is so sweet, but the fact that I actually predicted this matchup prior to the season.
Right.
I said there was a chance if Darnold plays good, we'd be playing for the division in week 18. I said that immediately, and it had less to do with Darnold and more to do with the roster around him.
Yep.
He's never had that before. And I said it all depends. If you get the Jets, Darnold, you're screwed. If he plays to the level of the competition on his roster around you, you'll be fine. And that's exactly what I said. There was no bullshit in it. I wasn't saying you'd be last. I predicted the Bears wouldn't even win 5 games this year.
You're pretty much right on it, Jeremy. And I tell you what, I just I was hoping that Darnold would turn out exactly the way that he did, because all the indicators were there. Every team he's been on, either he was a backup and was underutilized, or it was just a really bad, toxic franchise like the Jets. And I'm like, this could work. All he has to do is not make a lot of really big mistakes and multiple mistakes in a game. And we have the rest of the talent, especially, on the offensive side of the ball, to make this work. And the other thing that was holding me back just a little bit is I just didn't know how it was going to work. I figured it would be successful because all the indicators are there, but we needed to see what the difference is going to be by getting rid of Danielle Hunter and then bringing in Blake Cashman, Andrew Van Ginkel, and Jonathan Grenard. And I tell you what, both moves turned out to be pure freaking money, as both the Minnesota Vikings and the Detroit Lions are sitting here at 14-2, about to play the biggest game in the NFL and one of the biggest games, if not the biggest regular season game in NFC North history.
It's NFL history. They've already said it. There has never been two teams with 14 wins where one team's the 1 seed and one team's the 5th seed.
Yeah, that kind of sucks too, you know.
It does, because it's win or go home. So you know both teams are going to be playing as hard as they can. Nobody's going to lay down and give it to the other team. You know, while I seen a lot of casual fans saying, "Oh, but the Lions got the 31st passing defense." I said, "Calm down, coaches. It's only 7 yards difference to yours at 28."
Yeah.
I got to speak to Sam Darnold. This has been his absolute career year.
Yeah.
Guess what? Just like 2022, once the roster was more complete for the Lions was for Goff. It's the same trajectory. You guys were more like the 2022 Lions than the 2021 Lions with your talent on the team. Do you see what I'm getting at there?
Yeah.
There was,
and that's exactly how it played out. It's exactly how it played out, except better, because you guys had a better defense than that we had that year. And in all actuality, if you look at our total yards, the scoring defense, the turnovers, because I think we're only second or third in the NFL behind you, it's actually been pretty much a mirror image of each other's season.
Sam Darnold's stats this year: passing yards 4,153 with 1 game left, 35 and that's 4th in the NFL. 35 touchdowns, that's 5th in the NFL. Interceptions, he threw 12, tied 91st worst. And a quarterback rating, this is coming off of ESPN, by the way, of 63.4, which has him at 13th. Other metrics have him, the passer rating bid is higher. This vastly exceeds. I mean, you said a career year. This right now, if Sam Darnold did this on the Chicago Bears, he'd be the best quarterback and have the best quarterback in Bears history, and they've existed since 1919. Yeah, that's how good this is.
The difference is that you guys have an O-line. The Bears don't.
Right.
I really like this comment.
You must be muted, Matt. I don't hear you at all.
I can hear Jeremy.
I can't hear Matt.
Right.
Oh, Matthew Lestari,
Right,
are you muted?
Yeah, he was talking. It somehow dropped his mic. It's going to be in the settings for sound.
Yeah, you got to figure out your mic, Matthew, and turn that back on.
But anyways, and yet Goff is doing the same thing he's been doing for 3 straight seasons. He's having another career year.
Yeah.
He's got almost 4,400 yards. He's got 274.9 passing yards per game. He's got 36 touchdowns. And he's got a 113.6 passer rating. So it's the matchup of all matchups.
Yeah,
it's going to come down to mistakes. That's what this game's going to come down to.
I agree. Because to be perfectly honest, and this isn't being insulting, Jeremy, but I think we can stick 40 on your defense. But as tight as Goff has been, and you guys' O-line in the way that your weapons, yes, granted you don't have Montgomery, but if we can, there's 2 things we have to do. We have to get pressure on Goff, and not many people have done that this year. And we have to contain Jahmyr Gibbs. Again, not many people have done that this year. Really, there's 3 things, and then not turn the ball over.
Let's see, is that working now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey!
There we go. That's my 3 things. Is I think whoever does win the turnover battle wins this game, because I think both teams are capable of scoring 40. I do think our defense is better than what yours is right now, just because of the injuries. Here's the problem, Ben. And I'm just being honest. It feels like the past 3 games, Ben Johnson has been 1 step ahead of Brian Flores the whole way. And that is going to be, I am going to say he's the only coach in the NFL that I think has gotten the better of Flores so far.
Yep, 3-0 in his career. That's both games last year and this one. Both of them over 30 points. You know what's funny is in those games, Jared Goff has thrown 8 touchdowns and 0 interceptions.
Yeah. So the biggest thing of it is if midway through the first quarter we cannot get pressure on Jared Goff. Flores needs to have a plan B because he hasn't the first 3 times, like you mentioned. He needs to have a plan B to manufacture a way to get our rushers to Goff and actually make contact, because it's going to be a very long fucking day if we don't.
Wait a minute. You guys had 4 sacks and 28 pressures the last game, and we still had a 75% completion rate.
I know that's right, because when we did, we would have like a good play where the pressure got there and we had the sacks, and then we'd have like 6 in a row where we had shit and Goff just chewed us up.
It wasn't 6 in a row that was shit, because there was only a total of 65 offensive plays by Detroit. If you had 20 pressures, that means you were over 20 pressures. You were pressuring them almost half the time and got sacked 4 times. So that put it to the halfway mark. It wasn't that you guys didn't have pressure. You guys are missing the point. Goff was 75% against your blitz.
Yeah, he is very good against the blitz.
He was making plays out of your blitz. He is the second best quarterback in the league versus the blitz.
Right now. Okay, I see what you're talking about now. So the reason for that is, if you watch the last time that we played, specifically when you brought those numbers up, we were only in man coverage a handful of times. So when I say handful of times, if I go back and look, I think we were only in man coverage
15%.
4 plays, like literally. And what happened was, with all that pressure getting brought, Goff, even with that pressure, was able to chew the zone up like big time. And that's what I'm saying. Flores had better now we were down a couple guys. We got a healthy Gilmore. We have a healthy Shat Griffin. We have a healthy Byron Murphy. We have Josh Metellus we can put here and there. I think Flores had better be game planning to try to do man coverage, at least on your big hitters like JMO and Amon-Ra St. Brown and Reynolds and guys like that, because he will chew that zone. We've seen it for 3 games in a row. 3 is enough. I don't want to see it 4 games in a row.
Reynolds isn't here anymore. Reynolds isn't here anymore. You're confusing him. It's Tim Patrick.
Yes. That's what I meant. Well, I was going to say that,
because he stepped in and done the exact same job that Josh Reynolds was. Being the guy when no one else is open, that just gets open, makes a clutch catch. And this is where I'm going to, that's why I push back when you say other than the Bills, has anybody scored 40 on Detroit?
No. But I think we have a better offense than the Buffalo Bills. We don't have a better quarterback, but we have a better offense by a ways. I mean, you look at who does the Bills really actually have for weapons this year?
James Cook, and
they have Josh Allen. We shut James Cook down. Yeah. He had 68 yards.
Well,
it was Josh Allen that beat us. And the fact that our defense didn't make a stop, and the difference in that game wasn't the onside kick. The onside kick, if you actually look at the advanced metrics, it was the right time to do it. It was the fact we turned the ball over and they scored was the difference in that game. You go
ahead,
for that kick. I'm just saying that's why you go for that onside kick.
Yeah.
The analytics said it was the right time.
I want to throw one other wild card out there. Since we're talking about Lions, we are going to revisit the Packers game here quick for a while, but we got 45 minutes of this show left. But here's another wild card, and this is just something that's been sitting in the back of my head, and I want all 3 of you guys to chime in on this. This will be Hawkinson's first time facing the Lions since his knee injury. Is that going to affect the way things go, especially up in Detroit, with KOC or Hawkinson lobbying to try to, we talk a lot in this show about Darnold forcing it to Justin Jefferson, sometimes unnecessarily. It did lead to one really dumb his only interception last week was when he tried to force it to Jefferson. That's probably his only really bad play of the game. Do you think that just to make a point that they will try to force the ball to Hawkinson just to get him his redemption or get him into his groove or anything? And will that be toward the detriment of our team of being able to, is it going to cost us a scoring drive doing that? What do you guys think is going to be the outcome of this whole thing with Hawkinson finally refacing the Lions?
I don't think so, because Hawkinson was interviewed when he was coming back, and he literally said, "I don't blame Kirby Joseph. I blame my quarterback for hanging me out to the dry and throwing it to where I had to jump up and wasn't completely landed when he hit me." So at the same time, while everybody says it was dirty, it's literally what a defensive back is supposed to do when a guy is in the air trying to catch a ball. Wait for him to get the ball, start to come down, you tackle him.
I truly don't. I do think we're going to be staying the course. If we're getting double, if JJ and Addison are getting double covered and he's wide open, we'll throw it to him. But I think we're going to have to stay the course. It's not about redemption. It's not about personal sentiments. This is bigger than anything personal. This is about the 1 seed in the NFC. This is about the NFC North Division. Now is not the time for personal feuds and disputes.
Exactly.
Well, there's no bigger retribution than taking the 1 seed from Detroit. It doesn't matter if it gets 100 yards. What matters is you lock out with the win.
And that's the way Detroit is about everything. They said, all we got to do is win. That's not lies. That's not lies. Hawk actually said it wasn't a dirty hit. He was sold out by Nate Mullins.
Well, and I mean, Nick Mullins was basically at that point in time, he was our fourth. He was our fourth quarterback. I mean, last year was just a dismal year. I mean, you talk about all the injuries you guys had on defense last year. We had them all on offense. I mean, it was terrible. Justin Jefferson missed 8 games. We lost Hawkinson. We lost Cousins. We went through 4 quarterbacks. I get it. I'm not mad anymore about last year because sometimes you need to have a season like last year to get us what we have this year. Cousins down the road, and it's just too bad it turned out that way with him and the Falcons. I mean, who didn't see that coming though? But this is a special year. If the Vikings can win, this will tie the second or the best season I've seen in my life. And really, the Vikings have only had one 15-win season. It was in 1998, Randy Moss's rookie year. If we hit that pinnacle, if for whatever reason that we do come away with the W, this will be a season that Vikings fans will remember for the rest of their life, regardless of where it goes, in the playoffs and everything, because that's a whole different animal, but shit, even a 14-win season is special as hell.
Well, the last 4 times the Vikings swept the Packers, they made it to the NFC Championship game. So if we're going to do trends here.
Yeah. So I do just read the comment.
The dog shit of a game.
Oh, it's going to be a hell of a freaking hard-fought game, especially in your house. So just looking through the comments, I really don't want to. I mean, we spent all year last year and most of the off season talking about Kirby Joseph, whether he's dirty or not. I know what you think, Jeremy. What is your opinion on Kirby Joseph being the highest fan vote getter for the Pro? Now, the Pro Bowl's a joke. Let's just start with that. What's your opinion of him being the highest fan vote getter but not getting in at all? Apparently, the coaches and the players aren't fans. What's your take on that? And does that correlate back to the fact that he has taken out a couple tight ends? And, I mean, you can't argue the fact he's leading the league in interceptions.
Right. You know what? I agree with the way Kirby Joseph handled it. He was interviewed. He goes, "Why do I care about Orlando when my goal is New Orleans?" Because if you're in the Super Bowl, you're not in the Pro Bowl, right?
Yeah, it's kind of a cop-out answer, though. I mean, it's still a badge of honor to make it to the...
There's not a cop-out answer. That's actually a good team answer. Yeah, you're talking about a team that lives together like family. You're talking about everybody's got the same goal. Everybody's got that same mindset.
Everybody that's in the playoffs has the goal of making it to the Super Bowl. There's not a team that's in the playoffs. It's like, yeah, no, Pro Bowl's my limit. I don't care about everyone wants to go to New Orleans, but it's still, at the end of your career, people care about Pro Bowls. People care about All-Pros. Those individual accolades do matter to players. It's like Saquon Barkley in Philly saying like, well, yeah, I don't care about the record. I care about wins. Like you care about the record.
I think the Pro Bowl means more to the fans because the fans get to vote on it. But I also think it means more than players let on because the coaches and players have more of a percentage of who gets in, as is evidenced by Kirby Joseph. That is a testament to your peers, what your peers think of you. Now, there's 50% of the population in this world really does not give a straight fuck what anybody else thinks about him. I happen to be one of those kind of people and everything, but there's a lot of people that do because they're still trying to, build their identity, or they're trying to, find their way, especially younger men like what's NFL ages are. I mean, these guys are barely just young men. I mean, they were just kids a couple years ago playing college ball. They are looking for affirmation or lack of affirmation from their peers and then from their supervisors, who in this case would be the coaches of the NFL. I think it does mean something more to the players than what they let on. I really do, just based on that logic right there. Does that make any sense?
I'm going to push back. No coaches teach that type of tackle even at the Pee Wee level. Guess what? You're absolutely wrong. I played defensive back. I was a small defensive back. You are taught 100% to go at a player's legs if they're bigger than you. You wrap them up so they can't. I'm not talking about the knees. And he originally made contact at the thigh. When he hit the ground, he hit the knee.
So, Rob, do we do heroes and zeros?
Yeah, let's because we have a whole hell of a lot more to talk about in this Lions game, but we would be remiss to all of our followers watching if we didn't recap this Packers game a little bit because it's just
go ahead.
It's too good. And Jeremy, you can weigh in. You probably didn't have a dog in the hunt, but I'm guessing you did not want Minnesota walking in with a 14-2 record and this being for all the, even though it's awesome that it ends up being this way because it's historical. But yeah, let's do heroes and zeros. Go ahead, Chesty. Start off with yours.
You know what? This was just a total team effort. I have to give it to Sam Darnold. 377 yards passing. His statistical best single game in his damn career. And yet they have changed the whole comeback player of the year. Well, had they not changed it, there would have been your comeback player of the year. This guy has fought and scraped, nearly left for dead, and now look what he's done. He's brought us on the cusp of the NFC North.
Yep. Matthew?
So going to that, the Associated Press came out with an article yesterday that Sam Darnold is going to qualify for the Comeback Player of the Year award this year.
Hell yeah.
Really?
So he is probably going to be a shoo-in to get it if that is the case. I think we're all going to collectively say that Reichert is our zero because that game honestly shouldn't have been that close. You can't miss those kicks. The 57-yarder that fell short, that's fine. It's not fine, but like I get it. It was a couple feet away from being in, but you got to make those. My hero is going to be KOC. If you've seen that footage at the end of the game when he's talking to Darnold through the headset, and he's basically saying like, "Hey, when you get back to the huddle, why don't you tell everybody like, great game, and I'm super proud of you." He ran back-to-back bootlegs to put that game away, which was ballsy as shit because it's like all you need is a first down. You expect him to run it, and no, he has Akers who goes to the wrong side in the first place and just has him roll out, and he has the trust in the team to make those plays. KOC, people want to say that he's a conservative coach. At the beginning of the year, I mean, even still, on Vikings Reddit, I see people say like, "Oh, he's still not that good of a coach." He's minus 1,000 to win Coach of the Year. The next closest is plus 250. He's absolutely my hero of the game. That dude is the heart and soul of this team.
Yeah, there's mistakes made throughout this game and everything. I don't think I want to even let me think about this. I can tell you what, my hero watching the game early on in the game, way early on, like the first drive, or it was the second, I can't remember. But the Vikings stopped the Packers on a 4th and 1 and turned it over on downs and went and scored. Harrison Phillips showed up and did the work of 3 people on that stop and everything. That set the tone for how that game was going to go. I have not ever yet, since Harrison Phillips has been a Viking, given him my hero for any reason, but he's getting my hero this year or this week. And then for a 0, you know, I didn't see anything that really stood out except for the fact that Blake Brandel struggled, but I think he can get better. So I'm not going to give him a 0. I'm just going to give him the needs improvement the most.
Incomplete.
I want to hand out, you know, even though this regular season is going to be over tomorrow, I want to hand out my Defensive Player of the Year award, and that's going to go to Andrew Van Ginkel. Right from the get-go, he proved his worth with the fastest interception to touchdown in the StatCast history. I have to give it to him. He is worth that money.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think he's like 6th in odds right now.
Right on.
Yeah, I think right now it's more about the 2 interceptions.
Yeah, we're talking just for
for Defensive Player of the Year, isn't it? Kirby Joseph, McKinney, and Byron Murphy that's up there above Van Ginkel right now. Isn't it those guys?
Yeah, I think Matthew was talking about just for the Vikings. Like, who is our guy for the Vikings this year?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, all 3 of those free agents have just been money. But the one that you notice missing the most is Blake Cashman. Because when he wasn't in there and we took a loss, or 2 losses, it sucked not having Ivan Pace back either. It made a big difference in the run game not having Ivan Pace. But when Blake Cashman was out, that's where people were just absolutely trashing our defense, who had been ranked for a while #1 against the run. And it is a visible difference when Blake Cashman is in that lineup versus when he's not. Van Ginkel and Grenard, yes. I mean, you can't say enough good things about those guys. But we've also had the rookie Dallas Turner coming on, making some plays. We've had Jihad Ward in there making some plays. Patrick Jones II, who unfortunately is injured and will not be playing this week.
Or Dallas Turner.
That's our big name on injury. And Pat Jones has 8.5 sacks.
Is he at 8.5? I thought he was still sitting at 7.
I think he's at 8. Oh, was he? I thought he had gotten a sack and a half. I could be wrong.
Oh my God!
But
this comment.
If you mean Mike McCarthy,
he is not going to Chicago.
Well, I think maybe he means Mike McCarthy, because there are rumors that Mike McCarthy wants to coach Chicago.
Oh, that'd be perfect.
I would love that.
Oh God, yes! Bring Mike. The Lions would love it. The Vikings would love it. The Packers would love it.
He's not staying in Dallas.
Mike McCarthy.
And there's rumors that Rex Ryan is interviewing today with the Jets.
He's going back? Or was that Rob Ryan?
At this point in time, sell the Jets. Sell the team. That owner has more problems than the Davis family and with the Raiders. Sell that.
I do have
if that's what they're doing for real, is they're interviewing Rex Ryan, sell the freaking.
I do have a question for Jeremy. Do you think Ben Johnson and your defensive coordinators are going to be leaving you in this round of head coaching?
I 100% believe that AG is gone. Ben Johnson, on the other hand, has done an interview since Christmas, since all those bullshit Chicago beat writers started saying what they were saying, and going, you know what? I haven't even thought about taking an interview. So the fact he's saying that, the only reason why the Chicago beat writers ran with he wants to coach Caleb Williams is because he said 2 nice things after we beat the snot out of him in Chicago.
What would be the biggest incentive for Ben Johnson to take a job such as the head coach of the Chicago Bears versus what he's doing now?
Our front office is way more cohesive. Our owner allows football people to make football decisions instead of McCaskies and Warrens, who have picked the last 5 failing coaches for Chicago. I mean, that pretty much sums it
Yeah.
up. He said, if I take an interview, I want it to be with a cohesive front office that understands what went wrong and their willingness to fix it. Is Chicago that front office?
He should go to the Jets.
That ain't it
Oh,
either.
Oh my goodness!
Where head
Which
coaching goes to
dumpster is burning
die.
brighter, right?
Well,
Which dumpster is burning brighter?
well,
Oh my
here's
goodness!
the thing. I heard rumors that Poles does not want Ben Johnson because he's afraid Ben Johnson would get him fired. How
As he
crazy! How crazy is that? You worried that someone about that?
I think Poles is capable of getting himself fired, and I mean he's done a real good job of showing that.
I
so
think
far.
I think Poles gets his unenjoyment check with Everflus on Monday.
Oh,
As he should.
That's a bold prediction, but I think you could be right,
Because
JB.
we heard this offseason, Poles didn't want Everflus to be the coach of Caleb Williams going into the season, and the Warrens and McCaskies told him no. He went to them
That's
with
gross.
some ideas of who he wants for coaches. They already said Davis Warren will pick our coach. There is a grievance between that right there, which tells me either he walks away or he's fired.
and the whole Bears franchise, honestly, from the McCaskies on down, it just needs a total executive leadership rebuild. That thing is going nowhere, and quickly.
Yeah.
Did you guys?
We're at our halftime point, guys. We're going to run a commercial real quick, but when we come back, stick with us because in about a minute and a half, we're going to discuss more on Ben Johnson's future, more on the possibility of Flores going places, and why the Vikings are absolutely not going to deal J.J. McCarthy to anyone. So stay tuned. We got to run this commercial quick. We'll be right back with you.
Welcome to the Huddle Sports Network, where we're breaking boundaries and redefining podcasting. Broadcasting live on 6 different platforms, we're bringing you the latest in sports like never before. Imagine tuning into real-time discussions, expert analyses, and fan interactions all at your fingertips. Each platform offers a unique experience, whether you're on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitch. We're not just sharing stories, we're creating a community of passionate sports enthusiasts. Join us as we dive deep into the evolution of podcasting, where every episode is a chance to engage, debate, and celebrate the world of sports. This is where your voice matters and the game never stops. Welcome to the Huddle Sports Network, where we're breaking boundaries and redefining podcasting. Broadcasting live on 6 different platforms, we're bringing you the latest in sports like never before, where sports passion meets podcasting brilliance. I'm Mike, the Bear fan, and alongside Bill, the Packer fan, and our buddy Ken Catalone, we're bringing you an incredible lineup of 38 diverse podcasters. Each one brings their unique flavor to the table, covering everything from game analysis to behind-the-scenes stories. Imagine diving deep into the minds of experts who live and breathe football, sharing insights that you won't find anywhere else.
All right, fellas, we are back. And we had just finished discussing Ben Johnson. In fact, we're not done discussing that because of all the candidates in the NFL. I think Ben Johnson is probably top of the list of teams that need a head coach or that, are going to find out Monday or Tuesday morning that they need a head coach. And also up there, let's insert Flores. We've said for weeks and everything that until Flores' lawsuit with the NFL is done, we're pretty sure we can keep him in Minnesota. What happens if that thing comes to a quick, rapid resolve here? And then what is the incentive for anybody to be the head coach? What kind of coach and what kind of work needs to be done to turn around the Chicago Bears? And would either of our guys be the right guy to do it? Let's start with that. Whoever wants to jump into that little bit of frenzy there and everything. Let's wrap up this thing with the possibility that we could both lose coaches and
I don't
coordinators.
think any of our coordinators are the right one. Because Carl, the Bears fan of Barstool Sports, did you see what he had to say? Because I can share
Not
that
yet.
photo. I'm going to show that photo with you.
Okay.
The Bears aren't that far away. They need a new coach, new stadium, at least 3 offensive linemen, new OC, new DC. Caleb Williams gets better. Lions fall off, Vikings fall off, and Packers change the division. And then we'll have a winning franchise again.
Oh.
Not Killian.
Sorry, Bears fans, but
You want to see the bottom of what it said underneath that? Look.
When they finally have a winning record. Yep, that's about right.
They'll be rising from the dead.
Honestly, it's not. None of our coaches would be able to do it. Getting back the Bears to its original glory, it's gonna take a lot. And there is a rumor that even John Gruden has interest in that position.
So Blade just put an interesting one. He says, only place I think Ben Johnson would consider would be Jacksonville. Interesting. Jacksonville's probably going to pick pretty high in the draft. There are no quarterbacks worth of shit this year. I said it out loud. There are good running backs to be had. There's some good O-line talent. All in all, this draft class is not going to be as heralded or acclaimed as what last year's was, at least not at the quarterback position or a lot of skill position players. But there's some good running backs out there. There's some good O-line, and there's some good defense. I don't know. I don't know how that would work with him going to Jacksonville, or I mean, he would have to have a vision of what that team currently has, or just be ready to gut and rebuild a 3 to 4 year process in Jacksonville. That's interesting. I never even thought about that.
Well, and is Jacksonville going to move on from Doug Peterson?
That's what the rumors are, is that,
Okay.
They're going to fire, that he's going to be one of the ones on the hot seat that gets fired. I mean, who all do you think is going to get fired? Let's start off with that. I could see that.
Daboll.
I think Shanahan gets fired.
Really?
Yes.
That's the rumors I'm hearing. John Lynch.
That's bold.
John Lynch is just absolutely livid with the way this season has turned out, because Kyle Shanahan actually fired the defensive coordinator when he wasn't the reason they lost the Super Bowl, and now their defense has fallen apart statistically. They had their best showing because they were finally healthy versus the Lions. If you go look at who was healthy in that game defensively, they finally had everybody but Dre Greenlaw. Bosa was healthy. Warner was 100%. Their corners were 100%. You had the backup corner that started 3 games got hurt. Everybody says, "Oh, they're losing a starting corner." I said, that was their third stringer, guys. That wasn't their starter. Their starter's healthy.
Right.
And that was the major difference on why they were able to play that much better versus Detroit than everybody else this season.
Well, the thing with the 49ers, and John Lynch can just turn around and look right in the mirror, because they built that team to run around Christian McCaffrey. And it seems like that team cannot freaking function when CMC is injured. I had one fantasy league this year where I made the sad mistake of taking that fucker number 1 overall. And I ended up in a 5th place finish because of it. And then
I do think that Stefanski also gets fired. Cleveland's in a huge situation.
But
if they don't beat the Ravens tonight, I agree. If they beat the Ravens,
thing with the
all bets are off.
The other thing with the Niners I want to get at, and this is just because I'm from Iowa and I'm an Iowa fan. You decided you're going to make Brock Purdy from Iowa State, the Mr. Irrelevant in his draft class, your no shit starting quarterback. You have seen the absolute ceiling that Brock Purdy has had to have. It's not going to get better. And if Christian McCaffrey is always injured every year, we already know this. Brock Purdy's not the guy that's just going to freaking throw you. I mean, Sam Darnold's better at, Aaron Jones got tight, had to come out. We had Cam Akers. Cam Akers made some plays. But Sam Darnold has not just been a game manager. He has been actually attacking, being aggressive, and winning games because of his throws. That's not what Brock Purdy, what you see is what you're going to get. And I think John Lynch has himself to blame for that. And if he fires Shanahan, I guess I'm going to be in the camp that I'm a little bit surprised with that. So I don't know. Who now? I'm sorry, Chesty. You said you think Stefanski's out in Cleveland.
Yeah, I do because the quarterback situation is not good. Yes, he did just take a pay cut. However, I just really don't think they're going to be, they're going to need a new fresh face. Stefanski's been there, what, 5-6 years? Because he was our
four or five, yeah.
Yeah, it's been a couple. It's yeah, I'm trying to think. It was right after the Browns beat us in US Bank Stadium, which I believe would have been 2018. I want to say Stefanski started there in 19. Somebody might want to look that up. Yeah, I can see that. And to be honest, Stefanski was actually an interim coach for one game for the Vikings too before he went over there, which is pretty crazy. But
yeah, going back to the Flores and Ben Johnson, it's going to be weird because Ben Johnson's basically going to have his pick of the litter because he's obviously the hottest name out there right now, and all of these teams are trending towards young offensive-minded coaches. So he's footing the bill. He's going to be able to pick the best worst team that's going to fire their coach. Whereas Flores, because of the lawsuit, it's going to have to be like, who do I want to have to settle for? Because the top, again, bad, I guess, team that's firing their coach is not going to go after someone like that. So I think we have a much likelier chance at keeping Flores than the Lions do at keeping Ben Johnson. But it depends on how Ben Johnson thinks this Lions team is going to go. If he thinks like, hey, we have a 3-year window to make a Super Bowl, I'm not going to leave that window to go to a dumpster fire, then I think both of us keep our coordinators for at least a couple more years.
So Kevin Stefanski started with the Minnesota Vikings in 2006 all the way to 2019, and then 2020 he became and then 2020 he became the head coach of the Cleveland Browns.
Yep.
Yeah, Watson's not going anywhere.
Okay. So let's start digging into the biggest game of the year that hasn't happened yet, but it's the biggest game of the year, one of the biggest games in NFL history. 2 14-2 teams facing off for a division win, but two of the best. This has never happened before. There's going to be a lot of hype surrounding this. I would have felt better if we could have just pulled that win off against these guys earlier in the year. But if we lose, we get swept by the Lions, and they go on to have one of the best seasons in NFL history in the regular season. If we win, we tie our best win total with 15 wins, matching the 1998 season when Randy Moss was a rookie. However, it's far from over because both these teams are going into the playoffs as heavy NFC favorites. You do have the Eagles to contend with. Outside of that, you don't have much from anybody else. What a setup. I mean, if the NFL was scripted, which I don't think it is, I think there's just a lot of coincidences. If the NFL was scripted, you could not script this game any better. The Vikings, predicted to be a 6.5 win team by Las Vegas, heads in for the division and for the number 1 seed in NFC with Sam freaking Darnold at quarterback and a defense that's playing lights out and a loaded offense with Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson, Aaron Jones, Jalen Naylor, Cam Akers, CJ Ham. I mean, all these guys that contributed last week to a total team win and everything versus the Green Bay Packers. And now we face the hottest offense that we faced all year long once again. What do you think is the keys to victory here? Let's go around the horn, and then we'll get the opposing view from our friend Jeremy, who is a regular on this show that helps us with producing, helps us with everything else, and one of the most knowledgeable Lion fans that you'll ever see. By the way, we have hit over 100 viewers now and everything. I want to thank you guys, and I do want to welcome Jeremy, Smoking Jeremy B from the Lions here for joining us. But let's start with you, Matthew Lasturi. What is the keys to victory? What do the Vikings have to do to go into Detroit, a super ass hostile place to play, to pull this win off? What do we got to do? What is the essentials?
I think we just got to keep doing what we've been doing all season, and it's just have a nice balance of decent running, not great running, and good passing. against Green Bay last week. The whole mantra going into the game was 4 of the last 5 weeks, the Packers have had the number 3 defense in the NFL. They've only been giving up like 16 points a game. Sam Darnold, we're going to see this is going to be a playoff type atmosphere with a ton on the line. Can he do it? And he puts up a career high 377 and 3 touchdowns. The Lions defense, while is still good, I mean, they gave up 34 to San Francisco. So I think if we could just play and not turn the ball over and just have, again, a decent run game, have Jones keep the ball, I think our offense should be able to score enough to win this game. The Lions offense is absolutely ungodly. They've scored, 533 points on the season already? I mean, not already. There's only 1 game left, but their offense is obviously insane. So it's going to be a winner of the turnover battle. As long as we don't cough it up, I think we have a chance to go in there and win. The Lions' only 2 losses on the season were both at home. They were 8-0 on the road. So we'll see.
Yep.
Well, we're a bend don't break defense. And I think the hardest thing that everybody's got to come back to, remember how hard it was for you guys to score in the red zone back in week 7?
Yep.
Our red zone defense gave up 15% more touchdowns ever since Alex Anzalone went out of the lineup. Not so much because of Aleem McNeil, not so much because of all the other guys. It specifically was him. That's 6 more touchdowns on the ground and 3 through the air. Why? Because now the tight ends are open in the middle of the field because he was our sideline to sideline coverage guys. Remember, you guys tried to get it to Johnny Munt in the red zone. You tried to get it to the other guy, and Anzalone batted both of them away.
Yeah.
With him being back, and it's his decision whether he plays or not. It's not the coaches. The coaches want him to play. He's been a full participant the last 2 days at practice. It's his decision if he plays or not.
Now,
and I think he's going to play.
Here's one thing I think on the game plan, and we already talked in the first half of the show about Flores' scheme and why I think he needs to not and it's not just our defense. Goff has been outstanding against the extra pressure against every team that he's faced this year. I mean, he shreds a blitz and picks a zone apart. Outside of the fact that I do think that Flores will finally, now that we have 3 healthy corners and our switch hitter and Metellus and every, the Swiss Army knife of the NFL right there. You can play every position there is except nose tackle. I do really think that you're going to see a lot more man out of the Vikings. Now, that being said, that's what the Lions are going to do, is they're going to play a lot of man coverage. So the stuff that we're used to seeing, all the crossing routes and everything that KOC likes to run over the middle, because they're really, really good in man coverage. And then with those 2 safeties that they've got in everything with Kirby Joseph and who's the other guy? JB.
Which one?
Your other safety outside on the
Brian
other side
Branch,
of
the one that did make
yes,
the play.
yes, Brian Branch, first round draft pick has been coming on being in my terms, in my opinion, I thought he could have been a Pro Bowl too. I had a brain fart there for a minute. It's like trying to remember too many players' names. I think the Vikings will also alter the offensive game plan, and you're going to see a lot more attempted deep hits. You're going to see a lot more go routes. You're going to see a lot more vertical and not so much crossing stuff, because if there's one thing that the Vikings can do, it's Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, and especially Jalen Naylor at the wide receiver position can run faster than what your defensive backs can. And if you guys are in man, I think KOC also learned a lesson from that first game. You can't keep on just insisting that we're going to hit stuff over the middle. And if Anzalone is out, to your point, Jeremy, I think they will try some of that stuff in that little area right in the middle and everything, because that is KOC's bread and butter. That's where Jefferson, Addison, especially Hawkinson at the tight end position are good at playing. But I think you're going to see a lot more vertical, and you're going to see a lot more in the game plan designed to beat people one-on-one and have the go route. And Sam Darnold's got the arm that he can get it, he can get it downfield. That's my theory. Go ahead, and anybody want to rebuttal that, or you guys think that's solid?
I think that's solid. I'm going to go back to the Atlanta game when the pocket was closing in on Darnold, how he escaped and hit that touchdown when Justin Jefferson just walked into that damn end zone, untouched by even the beer guy in section 140. that's what I think is going to happen. He's going. Sam Darnold's his vision on that field has been phenomenal this season. He's been able to escape pocket collapses. He's been able to extend the play, to make the plays, to get the first down with his legs. And now this is just, icing on the cake. If he's able to do that and extend the play, I think we have a very good chance at winning. Now, for all my Viking fans out there, I want you to close your eyes and listen to these lyrics that I have been. This is from a song I've been listening to all week. Fires are rising and the bells are ringing. Glory take us into Odin's halls. This is what this means. When we walk into that stadium tomorrow, Odin's halls are going to open for us, and all the Viking gods, past and present, are going to help us. This game, this is going to take this rivalry from, it's just Detroit and Minnesota, who gives a crap, to must-watch TV from now on. This is that it's going to add an intensity to this rivalry for the next 20 or so years. That's going to be, unbeatable. Chicago and Green Bay, it's just been lopsided.
With the exit of Aaron Rodgers, I think you're now seeing what the new NFC North is going to look like for the foreseeable future in the next few years here between the Lions and the Vikings. Adarian is on here. Adarian's a Packer fan. He says, I think this game comes down to which wide receiver duo can be trusted the most, either JJ and Addison or JMO and St. Brown. Obviously, being Viking fans, we think that our duo there is the better one, but you can't shit on Amon-Ra St. Brown and JMO either. It only took like 2.5 years, but Jameson Williams has finally come around and be, turned into a good wide receiver in the league. And he's got speed and he can kill you on the deep ball. So we're going to have probably, if I had to take a guess, I'm saying we have, my best guess, we're putting Gilmore on St. Brown just because he is the guy, and we could put Byron Murphy or Shaq Griffin on JMO because they're a little quicker.
Yeah.
Those two receiving duos are some of the, I'm not going to say best in the NFC, but best in the NFL.
Yeah, there's been a lot of chatter from the Jamar Chase fans and everything this year, just basically centered around, who's better between, and this is going to be that way until both these guys retire, just because of the LSU connection and everything else. But, and people, well, Jamar Chase has this and this and this for numbers and everything. And like, yeah. And if Justin Jefferson didn't have Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson, Jalen Naylor, and Aaron Jones on the same freaking team that all catch passes as well, he'd probably have bigger numbers than what he does right now too. What more do you want from him?
And give him the number 3 quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah. Exactly.
Not bad. The sportscasters pointed out that, Geno Smith, Baker Mayfield, and Sam Darnold are all retreads, and now look where they are.
Yeah. Chill out, Michael. ASP is really good, but he's not number 1 in the NFL.
They're two different receivers.
So this comment here, best wide receiver.
He's not the best wide receiver in the NFL. He is a top 5, just like Justin Jefferson. There is an argument to be made for all 5 guys at the top of the league. We can all debate here and say who's 1 through 5, and none of us will ever have the same 1 through 5 totally. Do we all agree with that?
Yeah, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
So what Amon-Ra St. Brown does different is he is the better route runner. He has the better hands. All you gotta do is look at drop rate, and that tells you everything. But Justin Jefferson, 100% is the better deep threat. I'm not taking anything away. It's apples to oranges. They're 2 different receivers.
The argument I'd make about that, though, is, again, outside of like a 1.5 years, 2 years with Kirk Cousins, Justin Jefferson has had Sam Darnold. He's had Josh Dobbs. He's had Nick Mullins, and he's not really skipped a beat. Like, he's essentially quarterback proof. He makes mediocre, below average quarterbacks look, if not good, at least decent. Whereas Amon-Ra St. Brown has had Jared Goff his entire career. So, I mean, if we
everybody
have
said-
Jake,
at the same time, everybody said Goff was trash. Yeah,
yeah,
when we got him,
that's
Goff-
trolls being trolls. That's trolls
No,
being
no.
trolls.
Trolling. That's
No.
trolling, bro.
when we got him in that trade, you guys traded Stafford for fucking Rams trash. He couldn't even win a Super Bowl with them. He'll never be good for you. That is what was said repeatedly all year. And as we lost each game, even though it wasn't his fault, because he wasn't turning the ball over that as much as he was getting touchdowns, we kept hearing it.
That's why I don't
But-
listen to fans. I listen to narratives against the national media, and Goff was never slided in the national media like he was with division rival fans that aren't going to have serious takes 90% of the time. Jared Goff was in a Super Bowl. He had proven himself as being at least a good quarterback, whereas Sam Darnold has it, and now Sam Darnold has Kirk's career high in 35 touchdowns because he has Justin Jefferson. If McCarthy turns out to be the quarterback we're hoping he is, and is even like a top 10-ish quarterback, Justin Jefferson is going to be he's already an incredible receiver, but give him someone that's actually a reliable, consistent, good quarterback, and I don't think the argument will be close.
Yeah. I am
Scores?
looking here. So what do you think in terms of just added drama with the fact that the Rams at 10-6 are solidly in this playoff mix and everything, and that let's see. Okay, so whoever loses. So right now, who do you think wins the South?
Tampa.
I think Tampa's
I
going to
think
hold them
I
all.
think you're right. So
It's
whoever
Tampa.
loses Sunday is probably going to play Tampa Bay. The winner gets a bye week. Then when it flips around, is there any chance? Is there any scenario that the Rams have to play the Lions in the playoffs?
If they get past the divisional round, if we're at 5, we're playing Tampa, right? So they have
Right.
to
And
get
if
past
we're
the
at
di-
5, we're playing Tampa.
right. Either
Yeah.
way, the only way the Rams are playing, they got to get past the divisional round. It would be in the conference championship to play either team, if you really think about it.
Yeah. And somebody mentioned earlier, asked if somebody on the show said that both teams are 8-0 on the road. No, that's not what they said. The Lions are 8-0 on the road. The Vikings have one road loss and one home loss.
Yeah, a short week.
So the Lions actually had both of theirs at home. So it's I mean, that's kind of weird in and of itself. But and then let's see what else here. Melvin says QB is a weak excuse. A good wide receiver is going to eat regardless. Neighbors as an example, very valid point. Yeah.
Yeah, do it for 2 seasons, not 5 games.
About the only thing where I would say is like what I said earlier. If you're on a team that's stacked and they spread the ball around and they consistently spread the ball around, you can have a super good wide receiver that's not going to have the numbers jump out on the stat sheet because they're sharing targets with like 3 or 4 other guys on the team, which is exactly what's going on with guys like, and that's one thing I will speak up for in the Vikings pass catchers is they're very selfless. They're not selfish. Justin Jefferson's celebrating when Addison gets touchdowns. Addison's celebrating when Justin Jefferson gets touchdowns. Everybody's celebrating when Jalen Naylor gets out and makes a play like he did on that long touchdown last weekend. They do spread the ball around. And, Sam Darnold is very, very good about doing that and everything. So, every now and then they do try to force it to Jefferson if they need to, get out of a slump and make some things happen and whatever. But all in all, we are getting short on time, guys. Let's do final thoughts and score predictions. I'll go real quick here. My gut tells me that the Lions will probably win in their own house. My heart tells me Minnesota's taking this fucker by 3, so I'm saying 43-40 Minnesota. What do you got, Matthew?
I'm going to go off what Jeremy said earlier about how the Lions and the Vikings are essentially mirroring each other this season. I'm going to say we win 31-29 with a last-second field goal with 15 seconds left.
All right. Chesty?
31-28, Minnesota wins and claims a 1 seed for the first time since the PTSD 1998 season.
Right on. And JB, we'll let you anchor this show and take us out. What's your final thoughts here?
I don't think either team gets over 35 points because neither
Okay.
team gets up over 35 points on the regular basis. Even against the San Francisco 49ers, which you guys were trying to dog us a little bit on our defense, we only gave up 34. I think the final score is 35-31, and it comes down to who has the ball last.
Yeah.
All right. This has been a great show. I want to thank all of you guys for joining us and everything. Buckle up and hold on to your ass because here comes the North on Sunday night. Go!
Go!
We'll see you guys later. Thanks for coming on, Jeremy.
One pride.
Welcome to the Huddle Sports Network, where we're breaking boundaries and redefining podcasting. Broadcasting live on 6 different platforms, we're bringing you the latest in sports like never before. Imagine tuning into real-time discussions, expert analyses, and fan interactions all at your fingertips. Each platform offers a unique experience, whether you're on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitch. We're not just sharing stories, we're creating a community of passionate sports enthusiasts. Join us as we dive deep into the evolution of podcasting, where every episode is a chance to engage, debate, and celebrate the world of sports. This is where your voice matters and the game never stops. Welcome to the Huddle Sports Network, where we're breaking boundaries and redefining podcasting. Broadcasting live on 6 different platforms, we're bringing you the latest in sports like never before, where sports passion meets podcasting brilliance. I'm Mike, the Bear fan, and alongside Bill, the Packer fan, and our buddy Ken Catalone, we're bringing you an incredible lineup of 38 diverse podcasters. Each one brings their unique flavor to the table, covering everything from game analysis to behind-the-scenes stories. Imagine diving deep into the minds of